What if I told you that the rules that thousands of people rely on to study, live, and work in the UK just got flipped, and you might already be on the wrong side of them without realizing it? If you are on a student visa or planning to apply for a student visa, graduate visa, skilled worker visa, global talent visa, or you're a national of Botswana, these updates might just decide whether you stay or leave the UK or whether your next visa application will be approved. So on October 2025, the UK Visas and Immigration, aka the Home Office, quietly dropped a new statement of changes to the immigration rules, which has affected English language requirements for first-time visa applicants, proof of funds for student visa applicants, duration of graduate visa, eligibility for student visa holders to switch to Innovator Founder Visa, amongst others. In this video, I'll be sharing some of the details in the statement of changes to the immigration rules and when they will come into effect as detailed on the UK government website. I will leave the link to the relevant documents in the description box so that you can download it and read it for yourself. I will also show you how these updates have already been incorporated in the different web pages of the UKVI website. Welcome back to the channel, guys. If you're new here, my name is Skills and I currently live and work in the UK with a skilled worker visa. Now let's get into the video. Okay guys, so this is the explanatory memorandum to the statement of changes in immigration rules presented to Parliament on 14 October 2025. Because it has said here, the Minister for Migration and Citizenship at the Home Office, Mike Tabb, MP, confirms that this explanatory memorandum meets the required standard, which means this summary correctly represents what has been agreed or what has been passed into law. So it says here, this instrument amends the immigration rules made under the provisions of Section 1, Subsection 4 and Section 3, Subsection 2 of the Immigration Act 1971 that are used to regulate people's entry to and stay in the United Kingdom. There are a lot of changes that have been made in this statement of change, but I'm going to just highlight what I think is most appropriate or most suitable for my audience. The changes being made relates to introduction of a visit visa requirement for nationals of Botswana, recognition of Palestine, changes to the visa national list. The next one is change to the validity requirement in appendix, temporary permission to stay for victims of human trafficking or slavery. At this point, I want you guys to know most of the changes and then I will delve into the details. So stay with me, don't go away. So changes to English language requirements for economic migration routes. High potential individuals targeted at capped expansion of eligibility. Change to reduce the duration of stay under the graduate route to 18 months. Change to allow students to transition to the Innovator Founder route. So let's start with the introduction of a visit visa requirement for nationals of Botswana. The changes will introduce a visit visa requirement for nationals of Botswana, which means that these nationals will need to apply for and obtain a visa prior to visiting the UK. So before now, nationals of Botswana only needed an electronic travel authorization (ETA) to visit the UK. However, this new rule says by applying a visit visa requirement and removing eligibility to enter the UK with an ETA, those traveling to visit the UK can be assessed against the requirements of the immigration rules in advance of arrival in the UK. This means that their visit visa application will be refused where it is assessed that they do not meet those requirements or issued where it is concluded that they do. Now, means nationals of Botswana will now be subjected to visit visa application, just like nationals of Nigeria and other countries who are made to apply for a visit visa before visiting the UK for tourism or other reasons. UK visa requirements are kept under review. Now, this is the reason why this law has been put in place. This is what the UK government says. There are high numbers of nationals of Botswana who travel to the UK for purposes that are not permitted under the immigration rules for visitors. In particular, since 2022, there has been a persistently high number of nationals of Botswana who claim asylum. Between January 2022 and June 2025, 1,332 nationals of Botswana claimed asylum, with 642 of these claims made at the port. So far in 2025, that is between January to June, 147 nationals of Botswana have claimed asylum. While the numbers of people claiming asylum has fluctuated, numbers have remained high throughout this period, and all asylum claims place additional resource pressure on the borders and migration system. So this is why this rule has been put in place. There is a lot more details and I'm going to just leave this on screen for you to read because I don't want to read all through. But it is very important if you're a national of Botswana that you read this, especially the statement, this memorandum of understanding, so that you will understand why and what you need to do. Now, it says here, The introduction of the visa requirements will include a transition period for nationals of Botswana to travel to the UK without a visa, where they hold a confirmed travel booking made prior to the introduction. This period will commence at the same time as the visa requirement is introduced and run until 6 weeks after the introduction. The date would be 3 p.m. GMT, 25th November 2025. So in summary, they're saying the requirements for nationals of Botswana to apply for UK visa before they visit the UK will come into effect on the 25th of November 2025. Between 14 October 2025 and 25th November 2025, that's the 6 weeks period that they call the 6 weeks transition. Now, what do they mean by the 6 weeks transition period? During this period, nationals of Botswana who hold a confirmed travel booking at the time of the introduction and an ETA for travel to the UK within the 6 weeks transition period will not be required to obtain a visa before applications for an ETA for nationals of Botswana will close 3 p.m. BST, that's British Summer Time, on 14 October 2025. Let me just break it down. They're saying from 14th of October 2025, nationals of Botswana will no longer apply for an electronic travel authorization to visit the UK. Instead, you will need to apply for a UK visitor's visa or a UK visit visa. However, if before 14th of October 2025, you have already applied for your ETA and you already have a confirmed booking to come to the UK, then you can travel to the UK between 14th of October 2025 and 25th November 2025 without the need to apply for a visa. But if you didn't apply for an ETA before 14th of October, then you will be subjected to the visa requirement. So they're saying nationals who hold confirmed bookings for travel in the UK on a date after the transition period ends will need to obtain a visa in advance of travel. Amending the date of travel on a confirmed booking to an earlier date that falls within the transition period will still require the person to have a visa. So let me know what you think as a national of Botswana. If you've already had your electronic travel authorization and you've already booked your travel before 25th November 2025, then you can still come to the UK without a visa. But if you've not yet collected your ETA and your travel date is after 25th November, you will need to apply for a UK visitor's visa and you will need to meet the requirements for them to approve. That means if you do not meet the standard requirement of a UK visitor's visa, you will be denied. This is the requirement that has been incorporated into the UK government website under the government website. So they've said here, if you're arriving the UK before 3 p.m. UK time on 25th November 2025 and you're a national of Botswana, so it says you must be able to use an ETA to come to the UK if you already have one. All of the following must apply. You booked and paid for your journey to the UK before 3 p.m. on 14 October 2025. They're saying all of this must apply. So it's already incorporated, and they also say if you need to leave and re-enter the UK. So say you came into the UK with an ETA and you need to leave and come back, you have to apply for a visitor's visa. So now for nationals of Botswana, I know that this is new to you, but I have a video. In fact, I have 2 videos that I've dedicated to how to apply for a UK visitor's visa. I'm going to link it in the comment section. To watch the video, familiarize yourself if you want to apply for a UK visitor's visa. So the next one that I believe affects my audience is changes to English language requirements for economic migration routes. Let me break it down. So they're saying if you want to apply for a skilled worker visa or a high potential individual visa or a scale-up route visa, if this is the first time you want to apply for these visas, you will be required to meet a level B2 English language requirement. Don't worry, I'm going to explain what that means. However, if you currently hold a skilled worker visa or a high potential individual visa or a scale-up route visa, you will not be required to change your requirements. So for instance, if I want to renew my skilled worker visa, this new rule will not affect me because I am not a new visa applicant, right? This new rule will only apply to people who want to apply for skilled worker visa, high potential individual visa or scale-up route visa from 8th January 2026. If you want to apply for any of these visas, you have to show that you meet B2 level of the Common European Framework for Reference for Languages. Let's go and find out what this means. So I went to ChatGPT and said, what is the B1 and B2 level as defined under the CEF? ChatGPT said, for you to meet a B1 threshold, you can handle most everyday situations but still need help with complex ideas or unfamiliar topics. For example, you can have a conversation about your weekend, explain your job, or ask for help at a shop or hotel. But discussing politics or technical subject might be hard. Now, that was even the old requirement. So the new requirement demands that you meet a B2 level English language requirement, which means you are at advantage or upper intermediate level, which means you are an independent speaker who can interact comfortably and effectively even with native speakers, though not yet at full fluency or subtlety. So this means, for instance, you can participate in meetings at work, write professional emails, and understand most TV programs or news reports. So it means you need a more advanced level of English proficiency, and this requirement comes into effect on 8th January 2026. Let us go to the UK government website to see here. So this is requirement for skilled worker visa, knowledge of English. So it says you usually need to prove your knowledge of the English language when you apply, unless you did this in a previous successful visa application. Now it says here, this is the old rule. The old rule says you must prove you can read, write, speak, and understand English to at least level B1 on the CEFR. From 8th January 2026, the level of English requirement is changing. If this is your first application for a skilled worker visa, you'll have to prove that you can read, write, speak, and understand English to at least level B2. I've already explained to you what level B1, B2 means. Now, there are ways that they expect you to meet these English language requirements by sitting the secure English language test, like the Cambridge, IELTS. They will let you know the equivalent of level B2 for those English language exams. So that's it. We're going to move on to the next changes. So the next requirement is change to reduce the duration of stay under the graduate route to 18 months. The immigration white paper that was published on 12 May 2025 announced the government's intention to reduce the duration of stay under the graduate route to 18 months. What is the reason for this change? The graduate route currently allows eligible graduates who have successfully completed a UK bachelor's degree, master's degree, or other relevant qualifications to remain in the UK for 2 years and PhD graduates for 3 years. The change to 18 months will apply to applications submitted on or after 1st January 2027. With PhD graduates continuing to receive 3 years of leave. So this change to graduate route does not affect people who studied or who are doing a PhD. The data shows that too many graduates allowed to stay in the UK following the successful completion of their studies are not moving into the graduate level roles, which the graduate route was created to facilitate access to. Whose fault is that? Is it the graduates? Is it not the fault of the employers? Employers are not hiring them into the graduate route. What do you want them to do? Okay, it is important that those who stay transition into graduate level jobs and are properly contributing to the economy. I do not think that it is the applicant or the graduate's fault if they are not able to transition into graduate level job. Most often than not, they are not getting those offers, even after multiple applications. Trust me. And let us go to the government website to see how they have already incorporated this rule. So if you come to the UKVI website, you would see graduate visa. So this is the explanatory memorandum to the statement of changes in immigration rules presented to Parliament on 14 October 2025. It says a graduate visa lasts for 2 years if you apply on or before 31st December 2026 and 18 months if you apply on or after 1st January 2027. If you have a PhD or other doctoral qualification, it will last for 3 years. Your visa will start from the day your application is approved. And mind you, you cannot extend your graduate visas. And I believe that all the students, undergraduates, and master students who are currently in the UK should be able to get their 2 years. Unfortunately for master students, if you're already doing your master's program, then you're likely to be able to get 2 years because your master's program is mostly 1 year or 18 months. However, for undergrads, maybe somebody who just started year 1, they will not be able to apply for graduate route until after 2027, which means this will affect them. But I'm hoping in my heart that most of you who are currently studying will not even need to apply for this graduate visa. You will just switch to either a skilled worker visa or a global talent visa. And also, one of the new rules allows students to switch from a student visa to an Innovator Founder Visa, which is a very good thing. And I'm going to address it as we go along in this video because that's one of the exciting new rules. So as a student, you necessarily do not need to apply for a graduate visa. You can decide to switch to either a skilled worker visa, a global talent visa, or an Innovator Founder Visa. That way, that restriction of 18 months for you to now get all the pressure to apply for a graduate job within that period, you will not have that kind of pressure. Anyway, so that's it for the graduate route changes. This is the next one, student transition to the Innovator Founder route. This is a specific change to student work conditions that will allow student visa holders to establish a business where they have completed their course and are switching to the Innovator Founder route. It replaces a similar provision that previously applied to those switching into the startup route, which is now closed to new applicants. So they have now introduced the Innovator Founder route, where people who hold a student visa and have completed their degree, completed their studies successfully, can open businesses and then switch from student visa to Innovator Founder Visa. Of course, there are always lots of requirements to the Innovator to be able to get Innovator Founder Visa. Let's go and see what the requirements look like. So eligibility, you can apply to switch to this visa if you meet the eligibility requirements. If you are currently in the UK on a student visa, one of the following must also apply. You've completed the course you were sponsored to study, or you are studying for a PhD full-time and have been for at least 24 months. So in essence, if you're studying a PhD and you have studied for up to 24 months, you can actually switch from that student visa to an Innovator Founder Visa. That way, you don't even need to apply for that 3 years graduate visa. However, if you are studying a master's program or an undergraduate degree, then you will need to have completed the course you were sponsored to study. So you will need to have successfully completed your undergraduate degree or your master's degree successfully, so that you can then switch from student visa to the Innovator Founder Visa. Now, maybe I should just quickly show you guys eligibility for this Innovator Founder Visa. Before you apply, you need to have your business or business idea assessed by an endorsing body. They will provide you with an endorsement letter if your business is eligible. You must also meet the English language requirement. Of course, because you're a student, you've already met the requirement while you were applying for your student visa, so you shouldn't worry about that. You must be at least 18 years old, and you must be able to prove that you have enough personal savings to support yourself while you are in the UK. So if you want to set up a new business, you need to prove your endorsing body that you have enough funding. You do not need any investment funds if either your business is already established and has been endorsed for an earlier visa, or you've changed your business and already agreed it with your endorsing body. See, guys, let me know if you want me to do a specific video about being eligible to apply for Innovator Founder Visa. The next change that I'm going to highlight is the changes to global talent. So the global talent category is for talented and promising individuals in the fields of science, digital technology, and arts and culture wishing to work in the UK. Talent applicants are already leaders in their respective field, while promised applicants have shown the potential to become leaders in their field. I have a video on this channel where I broke down everything you need to know about Global Talent Visa. I'm going to link it either in the comment section or in the description box so that you can watch and know if you qualify to apply for Global Talent Visa. I know a lot of people that have applied for Global Talent Visa lately and they've gotten it. The Global Talent Visa is less restrictive than Skilled Worker Visa. So you have more freedom. You can do business, you can work for yourself, you can work for any employer at all. I think it's a better visa. And if you are given the Global Talent Visa under the talent category, then you are qualified, or you will be allowed to apply for indefinite leave to remain after your 3 years. But if you are given the visa under the promise category, then you would have to stay in the UK for up to 5 years for you to qualify to apply for indefinite leave to remain. Okay, so the new changes here is that, as agreed with Arts Council England and their sub-endorsing body, Royal Institute of British Architects, we are expanding some requirements to allow individuals within the architectural field to provide evidence of their achievements as a named member of a group or contributor, as well for their work as an individual. Additionally, we are allowing applicants to provide evidence of significantly contributing to being shortlisted or nominated for an international architectural award to qualify. If you are an architect or you know anybody who is an architect, you may wish to draw their attention to this requirement because it might just favor them. The next change that I think I wanted to highlight to you guys is the one I think is actually very important. This is the student route maintenance requirements annual uplift. Forget the English, it is just a requirement for proof of funds when you're applying for a student visa. There is a maintenance requirement for student applicants to demonstrate they have funds to support themselves for each month of their course, up to 9 months. This level of funds is aligned with the maintenance loans available for home students, which is reviewed every year. This change increases the maintenance requirements to match the maintenance loans available for home students for 2025-2026 academic year. We will ensure it continues to align with home student maintenance loans. So the threshold that the UK government uses to determine how much proof of funds you should provide aligns with the maintenance loans available to students, to home students within the UK. Okay, so they have now said that we have updated the maximum amount for the accommodation offset in line with the changes to the maintenance requirement. The accommodation offset allows students to demonstrate less maintenance funds if they have paid a deposit for their accommodation in the UK. Let me explain. So the UK government has an amount that they need you to prove that you have before you are given a student visa, which is usually an equivalent of 9 months of your expenses, including your tuition and accommodation fees. Now they're saying that if you've already paid deposit for your accommodation, they have actually increased the threshold in which they can allow you to reduce the amount of proof of funds you show because you have paid your accommodation deposit. Let me go to a page that will give you better understanding. Now, the UK Council for International Student Affairs, this is their website. Now you can see that this was published on October 14, 2025. So it says here, we want to highlight an important change in this statement for students applying for immigration permission under the student route on or after 11 November 2025. The amount of money students will be required to have available as evidence of meeting the maintenance requirements are increasing. For those applying under the student route or on or after 11 November 2025, the new amounts are as follows: £1,529 per month in London, up to a maximum of 9 months. So you're going to do £1,529 times 9 if you're going to be studying in a university that is located in London, and £1,171 per month if you're studying outside London. So that's the proof of funds has increased, because I remember the last proof of funds requirements on the government website was around £1,400 something for London. So this is the old requirement that says you need £1,483 per month for up to 9 months, and £1,136 if you are outside London. But now they've increased it to £1,529. So now for the accommodation part, they're saying the maximum amount of money that can be offset for accommodation will also be increased in line with the changes to the maintenance requirements. This will be £1,529 for those applying under the student route on or after 11 November 2025. So they're saying if you are applying for a student visa and you're going to be studying in a university in London, you need to show proof of funds of £1,529 times 9. However, if you've already paid a deposit of your accommodation, you can be allowed to deduct up to £1,529 from your proof of funds, which means if you're studying in London, you can show £1,529 times 8 instead of times 9. Now, if you're studying outside London, you need £1,171 per month times 9. However, if you've paid your accommodation up to £1,529, you can deduct that from your proof of funds. So that is it for that proof of funds. If you have any questions, definitely let me know in the comment section, because I get a lot of people asking me, proof of funds. How much proof of funds do you need? You usually need 9 months of your living expense plus your tuition fee. But if you have paid your tuition fee to a certain amount, feel free to show evidence that you've paid your tuition and deduct that from your proof of funds. And if you've paid your accommodation deposit, you can deduct up to £1,529. So that makes your proof of funds a bit lower. It says here the changes will be implemented on various dates from 14 October 2025 as detailed in the implementation section of the accompanying statement of changes. I've already highlighted these timelines for you guys when each of these changes will come into effect. For the changes that introduces a visa requirement on Botswana, those changes will come into effect at 3 p.m. on 14 October 2025, so it has already come into effect, although the transition period is till 25th November 2025. Now, for the changes to the English language requirements for skilled worker visa and all of that, that one comes into effect on 8th January 2026. So if you're applying for a skilled worker visa for the first time, you will need to meet B2 level for the CEF, English language proficiency. All other changes will come into effect on 11 November 2025 and are detailed in the implementation section of the statement of changes. I'm going to provide a link to this statement of changes, especially the memorandum of explanation, in the description box so that you can download it, refer to it, so that you can note all the deadlines that are applicable to each change. Guidance relating to this rules change will be updated and placed in the gov.uk website when these changes take effect. So that's it, guys. I hope that you learned a thing or two in this video. Let me know what you think. Let me know which of these changes affect you. If you're a current student and you plan to apply for graduate visa, I wish you the very best, and I know that if you apply before January 2027, you should still be able to get 2 years. But I would say instead of targeting or aiming to apply for graduate visa, just either target to switch to Innovator Founder Visa, Global Talent Visa, or Skilled Worker Visa, so that you won't have 18 months to look for a job that will sponsor you, because sometimes that might not be enough. And if you're a student, you are going to start your studies in January 2026 or September 2026, of course you need to ensure that you have the right proof of funds. And yeah, that's it, guys. Let me know what you think. Share this video to all the people you know it would be of help to. Sometimes these changes just come in quietly and you may not know. You will think that the old rule still applies. What I usually recommend is always visit the UK government website, because you would always get the latest information. The only reason why the student proof of funds is not yet updated is because that one is coming into effect from 11 November. On 11 November, once you come to this UK government website, you will see that the changes have been updated. Always use the UK government website to verify. If you see any information online, go to the UK government website to verify before you take it and run with it. Okay, so thank you so much, guys, for watching. If you want to apply for a UK student visa, I'm going to link the video to the end of this video so that you can watch it, and because that video takes you through all the questions that you're going to be asked and how you can make sure that you answer them to get your visa. I wish you guys the very best. I will be in the comment section in case you have any questions. I might just make a video just to answer your question. So make sure to engage, make sure to like, comment, and share this video to your friends and your contact, and I'll catch you guys in my next video. Bye.